Hello, I'm Gordon Lang, editor of CameraLabs.com, and I'd like to give you a brief video tour around the Sony Cybershot DSC N2. Here it is, the N2, Sony's flagship compact camera, and like many compacts these days, it's basically an upgraded version of an older model, in this case the DSC N1. So what's new with the N2? Well, Sony's increased the resolution from 8 to 10 megapixels, the maximum sensitivity is now 1600 ISO, and rather than having a silver body, Sony's given the N2 a champagne gold finish. But apart from that, it's essentially the same camera. Now, it's not the slimmest of compacts on the market, but rounded corners and lack of protrusions mean that you'll be able to slip it into most pockets with ease. There's also the same 3x optical zoom lens here, but the thing that's really special about the N2 and its predecessor the N1 is its huge 3-inch screen on the back. Now, when most cameras have got a 2.5-inch screen, this is really big. But there's something that's extra special about this screen, and that's because it's touch sensitive. We've got a demonstration of that right now. We're outside with the Sony N2, so the first thing to check is how long it takes to power up. Press the button there and about 1.5 seconds later the camera's ready for action. Let's check the zoom range. Here we are zoomed all the way out, now all the way into 3 times, and all the way back out again. Now, apart from this zoom rocker here, you'll see there's not a great deal of other controls on the back of the N2, and that's because it uses its touch sensitive screen to adjust almost all the options. We'll have a look at that in just 1 second, but first let's have a look at the display options. If I press this button in the corner here, you'll see some more information is put on the screen. Press it another time and you'll see a live histogram has appeared in the bottom left corner. This adjusts depending on the actual range of tones in the picture, and while it's a really neat option to have, especially on a compact, we'd also really like to see a grid on the screen to help you align it in situations like that. It's a shame that Sony haven't put that on the N2. But now let's see the touch screen in action, and to do that you press this button here, appropriately enough with an icon of a finger on it. Press it once and you'll see that a menu has appeared on the screen, and if I want to adjust any of those options, I just tap them. So for example, the quality here, tap it, I can change it from 10 megapixels to 8 megapixels. Tap that to go back again. Maybe I want to adjust the flash mode to auto. Perhaps the program mode, take that off program and put it to manual. And you can see now that I can actually adjust these manual settings. Maybe open the aperture up, that's a little bit too bright. Perhaps adjust the shutter speed down a little bit until the exposure is perfect. It's pretty neat to use in practice, but it's not just for recording pictures. Let's have a look at the options in playback. I can use these arrows here to have a look at the different pictures that I've recorded so far, or again have a look at the menu options. And here you'll see there's an album option at the top. Now, what the N2 does, like its predecessor, is record a low-res version of every picture you take. You can of course turn that off if you prefer it not to do it, but if it is doing it, it's building up a really neat album of up to 500 pictures, all the pictures you've been taking, and it's really great to show your mates. If I press the button here, you'll see we go into some thumbnails, and I can actually choose the month or the day in which I was taking them. This looks like quite an interesting day, and if I press the menu, we can have a slideshow. As you'll see here, there's actually effects and music. The N2 will do some transitions and can also play some MP3 music in the background, and it's not just what you put into the camera either. Sony includes 4 MP3 tracks, but you can upload your own if you prefer. But let's see what the slideshow looks like. The Sony N2 is certainly a unique camera. There's nothing like it on the market, apart from its predecessor of course. The screen is massive and the touch sensitive controls, while they take a bit of getting used to, are really great fun to use in practice. And if you're the kind of person who's into gadgets or having something that's a little bit different, this could well be the product for you. However, it's not all good news. While Sony does supply a stylus with the N2 for tapping the screen, more often than not you'll be using your finger, and of course that means fingerprints. If you have a look at the screen when it's off at certain angles, you can see that the fingerprints really do show up quite badly. But as soon as you turn the screen on again, you'll see that the fingerprints essentially disappear and you've got yourself excited again about having a touchscreen camera. In terms of creative control, there is a full manual mode on the N2, but there's no separate aperture or shutter priority modes, which is slightly annoying if you're into that sort of thing. There's also no custom white balance, and it's really unforgivable not to have a grid to help with alignment these days on a compact. But apart from that, it's a really good product, and certainly, as we said earlier, very unique. If you fancy this type of control, then it's certainly a camera that you should look into, although the best things about it are present on its predecessor, the N1, so have a look out for those as well, because you might well find a bargain price on it. To see a full review of the N2 and how it compares against its predecessor and the latest crop of compact cameras, please check our full review at www.cameralabs.com.